Greetings all, giving thanks, praise unto King Selassie the First, Rastafari. Babylon, man plan to work the poor man. Slavery didn't end, it became mass incarceration. I know that this may not be the worst place to live, yet in other countries where certain freedoms that may be given unto Americans or Europeans do not exist because those repressive governments have been put in place by the intelligence agencies of the Western or so-called civilized countries. If those regimes were not implemented, those people may have realized the benefits of their land by extracting the resources onto themselves and not having to produce that value for others. So we can go ahead and get rid of the whole, oh, you got no reason to talk, you don't know it's how bad it is. I realize there's people that are attempting to leave their homeland and risk their lives to travel across the sea. And although they may not know what or how it's all going down, it is a result of Western interference. And so it is our duty, because we are in the West, the land of civilization, to speak up. We are in the position to do so. We may be marked enemies. I still think in the long run, none of that will matter. What is important is not how we're treated on earth by man. What's important is the Father. So the Babylonian man always look to find something to judge you, to make his assessment. He doesn't bother to ask any questions because he figures he can spy on you and come up with a scenario. And prosecutors, judges, lawyers are experts at doing this, to frame whatever situation, person, in their interest, to whatever suits their desires as capitalists. They protect the system. That goes without saying. The system benefits certain individuals at the expense of others. And I hope that goes without saying now too. I suppose we have to tread carefully. The Babylonian man looks to antagonize us, to get a snapshot of our worst case personalities, and to use those as leverage to drown out any message. Once somebody is labeled as crazy or insane or false, their message is gone. Their opinion doesn't matter. If somebody is not labeled as crazy, then all of a sudden, if they make noise, people are alerted. There's a good reason. You know, the prophets, Jeremiah, Isaiah, people didn't like what they had to say. Yet they said it because it was right. Jeremiah was put into a pit, sunk deep into the mire to drink gall water and to die. But yet he was rescued. You know, someone came to his defense. The Babylonian man plan takes that witness seriously. So I say it's better to have one good witness than 1,000 false friends. How many of the friends on Facebook is going to defend each person? Nobody really cares anymore because people's mind is so consumed with the distractions. The ruling class has used our taxpayer money to do the research to find out what ticks psychologically, and then to use that against people to extract labor. And getting back to my initial point, that the Babylonian man's plan is to take the slave plantation model, shifted, still exists. You have all these layers. You have the federal government, the military is above them. You know, it's supposed to be the other way around, but we know better because when a country's people vote in the leader that they actually choose, the military takes over and there's a coup. It's already happened. We've seen it. And once it happens in other places, it'll happen here too. So, a total denunciation is necessary. A total revulsion is necessary to break the chain of slavery. We are not going to get past this point by piecemeal reformation. It is going to require a revolution of some sort. And the Babylonian man is actively monitoring this. For now, his trick has been to keep everyone down. As I was saying, you incarcerate people, you make them work. If they don't get incarcerated, you cause them to pay exorbitant fees. And these fees are far in excess of what people in other countries may pay. If people get pulled over, say speeding, maybe it's a third of what we have to pay. In comparison, in real, should I say real labor, I was going to say in comparison to our income percentage. These are little tricks that the Babylonian man will not tell you. He will show you the movies. He will show you all these nice houses that he owns. Remember, the banks have trillions of dollars in assets. So all these big fancy houses, the banks may be paying for their maintenance, but nobody's living in them. Or they're owned by one or just a few individuals. The American dream is what it is. It's a dream. Until we wake up, it will still be a dream. And so, like, people want to, like, get on, like, say, a communist government or whatever. But the capitalist is always finding ways for people to pay in. They look at your numbers. They say, look, he pays this amount of taxes, he has this business. and they'll let you go. I mean, that's one of the biggest tricks of the police, is that they protect individuals and they don't arrest individuals that pay in. They look for the people that don't pay in, and they find, and they've got how many laws on their books. They can all put us in jail forever. Nobody's going to say nothing. Just keep feeding people virtual reality, the internet, whatever's on the screen, and the people just seem to ignore reality. They think that reality is what they're looking at on that screen. And if you are, I'm going to come up with an analogy on the spot. If you own horses, and people don't generally like to eat horses, and the other guy owns cows, and people eat cows, and so you notice that you are unable to sell your horses because people buying cows. Well, then your competition is with the cows, and you've got to find a way to get people to not like cows. So you just maybe go in there and show kind of the operations and show how cows are being transported and huddled up. They don't have, any rights, and perhaps you have some videos of the cow actually being slaughtered. And anytime somebody goes to the, restaurant to get the hamburger, you project those images. You tell people about mad cow disease. This is really going around, and if you eat hamburgers, you could be susceptible. You show how meat turns into worms. I mean, there's all kinds of ways to discourage people from eating that meat, and in return, they're gonna buy your horses. Perhaps on the same token, you project images of heroes riding their horses. Maybe it's the Marlboro Man, and the cowboys of the Old West, Clint Eastwood or whatever. He's got the girls around his arm. And then everybody's saying, man, I really would like to get a horse. I mean, it seems simple, but that's all that's happened, is that the capitalist has promoted his own game and discouraged the socialist. It's easy for the capitalist to do because he's got the money. The socialist, the poor man, doesn't have the money.